Why can't you join?
Oh, I see
We
me.
got
I see me.
ta-da!
I see you. Okay, so we've already learned, I don't know, four things. We've learned
Yes.
four things already. That's a win. That's a win.
This
That's
being
a
the first
win.
one, yes, I think so.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, hi there, everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a good night so far, or
Hello.
a good afternoon, depending on where you are. All right, so Joanne, if you would like to introduce yourself and say hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joanne Brathwaite, and I'm in Southern Ontario, and I'm here with Leona because we're going to talk about birds and birding. And yeah, I'm in a bunch of different clubs. Birding is one of the many things I do. I'm also warming up the oven because I'm going to bake bread right after this. So, I'm multitasking right now as well.
Ah, and by the way, you have a recipe for butter tarts with ginger?
I have a, I have officially retired my butter tart recipes, but yes, I have a ginger. I have an award-winning lavender honey and an award-winning guava butter tart. But they are retired right now, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. All right. And hi, everybody. I'm Leona, and I'm in Northern Ontario, uh, and where there is still an awful lot of snow on the ground. But it is starting to melt a little bit. And the Canada geese have come back. So it's going to be springtime soon, I'm sure.
Very soon. We're all getting a little itchy about it. I'm like, oh, I have to work on my warbler sounds again. It's getting time, running out of time, running out of time.
Well, here, Joanne, you can barely see the tops of the picnic tables here.
Oh, okay. Well, we some people have snow piles they haven't like mashed down, but
Mhm.
today it's clear sailing on the roads.
Okay. So I'm a disabled birder, or I'm a birder with disabilities. Okay. Um, and you and I kind of met on that term and stuff. But why? What is birding for you? What does it do for you?
So one of the reasons I started birding, well, I used to see hawks near an old apartment building that I lived in, and I'd always say like, "Oh, look at those hawks! Oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder what kind of bird that is." And then after saying that enough time, someone, as a birthday present, said, "Get yourself some binoculars, and here's some guidebooks." I was like, "Yes!" And I kept doing it because one of the reasons I still do it is it's nothing like work at all. It's nothing like anything else I have to do. I do it because I want to do it. I get to go
Mm-hmm.
outside. I was not an outside person, but now I will go outside to look at the birds and see what they're doing and meet different bird people. It's just that it's very different and very calming, and sometimes it's a reason to have an adventure. You have one
Mm-hmm.
reason, like we go to find a bird, you might be like, I want to see what that park is like. You go and do that, and then at the end of it, you get groceries, come back home, take a nap, all that stuff. So it's a way to get into things I never thought I would have gotten into either, because I bird now. Sometimes I do watercolor. So I painted a pigeon, Leona, and I
Oh,
wouldn't
cool.
have done that before birding. So yeah.
Yeah, so it opens you up a little bit more, kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
To
Hmm.
different kinds of things. That's cool. You
Yeah,
see, for
definitely the outdoor
me,
bit. I was not an outdoor kid.
yeah,
What about you? Were you
not
an
an
outdoor
outdoor
kid?
kid. Oh yeah, yeah. I love being outside. I love birds. I've always loved birds. I have pictures of birds from when I was little, um, and stuff. But I had a workplace accident, right?
Hmm.
And so that changed my mobility, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then shortly after that, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
Hmm.
And so we decided we were going to keep him at home and look after him here.
Yeah.
And then a few years after that, when things were getting harder, my mom had a series of heart attacks.
Hmm.
And so it gradually got to the point where my world was going to work, coming home, doing stuff here. Go to bed,
Yeah.
get up, repeat. That was all that it was. And then in 2014, I got very lucky, and a Kiwi came over to Canada to meet
Yes.
me, and he gave me my birds back. And it
Okay.
was, yes, and that was really, really good because my dad died later that year,
Okay.
and birding saved me. It really did.
Okay.
So that, yeah, that it was a big deal. Yeah. So,
Excellent.
mhm.
Because you answered my
But
question. I was wondering then if your bird, the amount of time you got to spend looking at birds or thinking about birds, if that decreased, because you said your kiwi saved you. So I guess that answers the question. You did have a bit of a bird break.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't do it intentionally either. You know, like you don't, because you're doing what you got to do. I mean, like I had a lot of pain, all right,
Yeah.
from what ended up happening, but I had to look after my dad. Like I took night shift, my mom took day shift. Okay, then
Yeah.
my mom had her heart attacks, and so there was less, and then she had surgery for that, and she had,
Hmm.
you know, and stuff, and so it just your world gets like this, and you
Yeah.
stop. You tell yourself you can do all of this stuff, and you don't need anything,
Yep.
and you get more frustrated, and you get angry, and you get sad, and you don't know what to do with it all. And
Yeah.
having Kiwi come here gave me a chance to get that back, that being outdoors, that just being a chance to be in here for a while,
Yes.
you know, and stuff. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So birds saved you. I've heard many people say that, and sometimes I think, were there
Mhm.
times when they saved me? There are definitely, yeah, times where you get busy with so many other things and you just say,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to make a list today. Oh, I don't have to go outside. I don't have to do. So it seems
Hmm.
like sometimes it's so easy to just put it in the corner and forget that it actually can be a really, really huge contributor to being like yourself.
Well, it, you know, even now, right? Like, okay, ravens, for example. Okay,
Hmm.
ravens are great big birds, and they swagger. Okay, when they walk, they swagger. All
Yes.
right, they are also capable of having the quietest conversations. They can make such soft little sounds and stuff
Oh,
and when they're sitting there, because where I go to at the sanctuary, and they sit on the fence posts, and they talk, you know, and they talk back and forth, and we
okay.
chat, and
Yes.
stuff like that, and it's very soothing, and it's very interesting because you know they'll do the thing with their heads, while they're, you know,
Yeah.
and they'll look at you, and that, and all of those things, and it gives you a connection that is not very scientific, okay, but
Okay.
it's a very spiritual, I guess, emotional thing, right?
Mhm.
That you get, that you're a part of it. Then
Yes.
you're not just, you know, looking at it. You're a part of it, and I
Yep.
think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They
So,
let you into their world, right? You go to
oh,
space long enough
absolutely.
and they get used to you.
Yep.
And they might actually pose one day for you. They're like, all right, you come here all the time. I'll give you five
Yeah.
seconds and then I'm
Yep.
gone.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, you know, you if you do go to a space long enough, I mostly bird by car, right?
Hmm.
And so, and they get used to seeing it as if, so
Yes.
it's mostly because I get there before the sun comes up. But I mean, you know,
Mhm.
um, and they just kind of treat it like it's not even there, you know,
Yes.
and they go about doing their thing, and that's really cool. It's really, really nice to be able to do.
Nice.
So tell me about bird clubs and what they're like, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a joiner. So I'm in the local club, the Toronto club, the club above, not above that, but like the Ontario club, Surralda Province. And then I'm in the Feminist Bird Club Toronto chapter. And I actually also joined one of the Montreal clubs because I need to learn French. And I thought, well, I may as well just read bird news in French too.
Oh, cool.
Immersion with birds. Um, so clubs are interesting because it's another way of I guess, yeah, immersion in the bird culture, and you learn the
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things people always talk about, the kinds of places people like to go, the kinds of things that are tips that no one would ever bother writing down, or they have stopped writing down because whether it gets like in the hand, I don't know, nefarious uses or something like that. So there's a lot that you can absorb, or at least that I have
Hmm.
found being able to absorb. And then by joining, and not all of them have like are paid memberships either. And some also have different ways that there are paid memberships, but you don't necessarily have to pay depending what the circumstances are, right?
Okay.
And these are more newer changes that are happening. But hey, let's take it. So I like joining them because you get to know more of like the knowledge and history of the clubs and of the area you're birding and where people go from your area.
Hmm.
But also if they organize events, then you get to go on those events with different people. So that might be, there might be always a park that you go near to you, always by yourself. The oven
Yeah,
is now hot.
I can
Um,
see.
but then, but see, okay, small detour. The cast iron has to sit in there now to like actually get the temperature. So the entire time we'll talk, I'm like cooking the cast iron, and then the bread will go in super hot right after we're done.
Hmm.
Right. So you can go with different people, or sorry, if you go by yourself, that's one experience. When different people end up being on the same event with you in that same park, all of a sudden the trees have different names. It's not just conifer deciduous. You know, there is a birch, there is a tamarack. It's like,
Yes.
oh, okay, well, all right. Well, I was not an outside child. And what else? You learn more about the different seasonality of the park you might be going to, birds that you just didn't know before, or you didn't know you knew the bird. Someone
Okay.
is now helping ID it.
Okay.
It's more eyes, more ears in the same spot. And so you could,
Okay.
as a group, gather more and meet more people that, sometimes I end up in the back of the group because I'm talking. I still see the birds, but then you're like just chatting with people about, their optics or about where they've traveled or when they started birding. And
Okay.
it's a
So
whole, be a whole
your
event.
community, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
community.
how is it for people with disabilities to be able to do these things?
Yeah, I think it would be for everybody's different, right? So I would say, having spent more time in some of the working groups and more of the club administration things and realizing, oh, did anybody think about these things before?
Hmm.
Or when I go into different parks or different areas, you realize some things create barriers or some things are easier. Some parks have rolling hills, but the rolling hill is also paved. Okay, so then maybe that
Yeah.
won't be a tripping hazard. That might be good.
Yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
boardwalk goes all the way around the park and the boardwalk just ends at the sand.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. So then that would be the end. Someone has to come back. So I would say you wouldn't necessarily know any of this until you showed up on the event and started to follow a path and then realize, oh, I can't go any farther. So one of the things I think is starting to happen now is thinking about like explaining what is the terrain or what might be the plan for the event. Is this a
Hmm.
loop? Will we all be coming back to the same starting point again where we parked? Are there washrooms or whatever someone might need to be comfortable on a trip? Because
Yeah.
sometimes there'll be trips that will, they'll start at 8 and they just keep going because if the birds are good, you just keep going, keep going, keep going,
Hmm.
which can be great if you can handle it and if you want to, or
Yeah.
if you don't feel
Yeah.
okay saying, I need to stop now, right? So
Hmm.
I think it depends, and everybody, from what I can see, there are opportunities also to kind of flag, hey, I'd like to know more about what's going to happen on this trip. Would this be okay for me? This is why I'm concerned about this trip, or I'm considering this trip. Can I ask questions? I
Yeah.
think there's more opportunities for that now. Um, okay, I don't know if there were before, but I would say now there's those opportunities. And thinking about,
Hmm.
okay, if we advertise this trip, can we think about describe how it could be for anybody that's going to attend? Thinking about your
Yeah.
terrain, about how long it's going to be, any breaks, any benches, stuff like that, if we know. And that might be for existing trips. The next level to that is thinking, can we start creating trips that prioritize how someone gets around the trip, prioritize how long it is, prioritize the accessibilities or features that are around, and start by picking maybe a better place and see what birds are there rather than
Hmm.
only going to where you know the birds are that we traditionally
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
So I would say You said, would it be good for people with disabilities to go on a birding trip? I would say it depends. And I would say it's
Okay.
also like knowing the types of different trips that are happening, right? A hawk watch isn't it's Toronto, something is happening outside.
Mhm.
A hawk watch is a stationary trip, right? Everyone is
Mhm.
maybe in a 50-meter range, possibly
Yep.
on a hill, which,
Yeah.
okay, or on some other, on a flat surface, but no one is really, they might be pacing around to like peek around the tree to see what some jays are doing, but people bring their folding chairs and you're just looking up. So that might be something that's like, okay, if that is what a hawk watch is, then maybe that is the kind of thing that a person with disabilities might want to do.
Hmm.
But there's other ways, like when there are, what do they call them? Like birdathons. Sometimes birdathons are big sits. A big sit
Yeah.
is sitting down. So maybe
Yeah.
that might be something, right?
Yes. This was something that I learned, right? I
Yeah.
had never heard of a big sit. Never. They're going like, oh, so we're going to do a big sit. It was like, what the heck is that? Okay, right. And it literally is. You all arrive at one space
Hmm.
and you sit and you watch what is around you. And so,
Hmm.
and that was amazing because that would be absolutely perfect for anybody who wants to get an introduction to birding.
Hmm.
Okay. No matter what your ability is, that is
Hmm.
one thing to go with a group to get that whole experience, to see what's out there, to be able to ask questions and stuff.
To hear
That
what's going
is
on,
a terrific
right?
thing.
Because if we're all in
Yeah.
the same spot, whether you see something flying over or you're
Yep.
hearing the chattering in the
Right.
trees, right? There's other ways to sense it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. No, I think that is absolutely perfect. I also think though now, like you were saying, okay, things are coming around. Well, you and I both work on things like that. Okay, where getting birding clubs to be a little bit more thoughtful, I suppose, on
Hmm.
what what kind of walks they're taking people on and what
Hmm.
sorts of terrain it is, what types of people would be interested. Say, for example, new birders
Hmm.
wouldn't necessarily want to go and see like raptors is specific. Okay, so you
Hmm.
want to go see that's very specific. But new birders, at least I did. Okay, you want to see like everything. You want to see chickadees and blue jays and and
Yep.
like the even crows are endlessly interesting, and if you get to see a cedar waxwing, well, that's just beyond everything, right?
Beautiful.
So there's like, and because that's the part that like it gets you there, and when you hear how many different calls a blue jay can make and it's still a blue jay,
Hmm.
uh right,
Yep.
like that is amazing stuff. And chickadees that are little itty bitty birds and they sound like oh, I am a mighty bird. It's like I really like birding. Okay. So
Yes. I resisted myself from making the chickadee bloop, bloop, bloop sound. Whoops.
okay, but I also think that people who have a disability need to be comfortable disclosing that to the people who are arranging the walks, to
Yes.
know what is going to be on that walk. So know what
Yes.
kind of stuff is going on, anything that they might need as well, to get along better. Do they have uh, times that they have to stop for medication, or is there,
Hmm.
do they need any sorts of things like that? Those are all, and everybody needs to know where the bathrooms are. I mean, my
Yes.
gosh.
Hmm.
uh, so
Although I've seen some things, but anyway.
and it would be nice to know if the bathrooms are accessible as well. Okay, that's a really big deal there. But I think that it is up to an individual, because somebody with a mobility issue like myself, okay,
Yeah.
and you've been birding with me, and I have to
Hmm.
stop frequently, okay, to rest. It just goes. But then other people who don't have that, but who have a vision difficulty, may
Hmm.
need somebody to help guide them,
Yep.
or they may be bringing a guide dog with them, and so
Yep.
therefore, you've got to make sure that everybody else in the group is aware this is for anybody who wants to join disability,
Yes.
so if you've got an issue with dogs, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then this may not be the trip for you.
Yep.
Because we're not going to exclude someone simply because,
Yeah.
that they have a dog, or, any of those things. I think people with disabilities need to be forthcoming as well. Because if we're going to be inclusive and bring everybody in and really make stuff that everybody can take part in, then
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any sort of like shame, I guess, in
No, you're right.
who you are, what your abilities are. There shouldn't be.
You're
But that's
right. It's it's the bravery of the person to ask, but it means everyone else organizing it needs to be open enough or give the energy that says like, just ask because we
yeah,
will figure something out,
yep,
right? If
yep,
they don't, if you don't make it easy for people to flag that there is something, and you may not be able to solve it or accommodate, or it might take, 4 trips to figure out when this
yeah,
will be the best way to sort this
yeah,
out, right? But so we have to stay open to the fact that someone might ask for something that we haven't thought of before.
mm-hmm,
And that's fine because we can't, well, you could try to have 1,000 versions of things, or sometimes you have to start trying it out and then figure, okay, will that work? Now we have a need. Let's figure it out, right? That's
yep,
another way to do it. Um, Another way that I think because in one of the clubs I'm doing more of the administration, we didn't do any walks in the last 2 years of the pandemic,
mm-hmm,
but we're starting to
mm-hmm,
do more events right now, field trips now, and it's all pre-registration. So because there's pre-registration, there's a lot more details I can write within the membership portal.
right,
I can communicate. I know who's coming, who's planning to come. We can send a note. We have to do a rain date change, right? And so here are the registrants. Here's other people. And I was able to send, this is happening, bold the date, send this, right? And it
mm-hmm,
says who you can reply to, all these different things. I hope not everyone replies to me. But if they need to, there is a point of contact now.
mm-hmm,
And because so we have not been doing in-person meetings, but lots of Zoom meetings and more of the counselors being on video too. If you see us in the bushes and you've heard us making jokes in that video, we're a person you can come say hello to. In the in-person times, all the counselors' name tags had a different color. Again, to signal, this is the person who said they're going to be someone you can ask questions to, right? And so if that's sort of the standard you're going to set, to let people know, like, if you think you have a stupid question or whatever, these people are going to keep their face straight enough to listen. Like, that's what
yeah,
that means. That's
yeah,
how I would do it,
mm-hmm,
right? And then they
yeah,
might say, I don't know the answer, but let's try and figure it out. Or, what would you suggest? Because
mm-hmm,
I don't know either,
yes,
right?
yes, yeah, yeah. It is a bit of a new thing, because one of the things that I hear an awful lot is that disability is such a big issue. It's so vast. There's so many different things to take into account. And I guess it looks like that, and maybe it is, but it's just a matter of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can get involved with birds if you're confined to your bed, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like, as long as somebody can open a window,
Mm-hmm.
and you can hear things and you can start to learn what the birds are that you're listening to, you can be involved. People in nursing homes can be involved with birds. It's not something that has to be this, like, okay, so we're going to out, we're going to hike, we're going to put on our hat, and we're going to, and we've got the water bottle, and we've got
Don't
the
forget your
bird down.
vest with all the pockets.
Well, yeah, that.
Actually, my t-shirt, my shirt has pockets right now, but they're empty right now.
Well, I have my outfit that I go birding in, which is my I am invisible to birds outfit. Okay.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, because once I heard that birds only see really bright colors. Okay. So I heard that one. So I don't wear bright colors. I wear black when I go out. So I'm
I
assured that
often
they
bird
can't
in
see me.
black. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bird's just going like,
Uh,
there's nothing there. It's okay.
Well, that's it. So you were talking again about the different ways you can bird, and earlier in the event 2 years ago, I think I had the window open. I was lying in my bed, and I realized I can hear the birds from here. I don't have to get up. And I was
Yeah.
really at that point trying to learn by sound. And I took a picture of myself, my feet up like on my dresser, my binoculars on my belly. I was just, you can bird from 5 a.m. They start
Oh
that
yeah.
early. You don't have to
Yes,
go
they do.
anywhere.
That's right. Oh no, and that is absolutely, or because I mean, like, there's your backyard, okay, or
Hmm.
or side, whatever you've got, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
You can be on your way to pick up milk, pick up groceries,
Yes.
okay, and you will see either sitting on the wires or
Hmm.
off in some little tree someplace or at supermarkets on the roof.
Yeah.
There and some gulls seem to love it up there.
Yeah, there's
So
a gull parking lot. Well, I shouldn't call it gull parking lot, but there's been some chatter in the Discord about some gulls just north of here at one of the home improvement store parking lots. So
ah, see, and so
some
I mean, like,
white-winged gulls were there. Hmm.
you can it isn't a matter of, like, you don't have to go to Algonquin, except you can go to your corner park, and you can also just kind of sit there and let the sound wash over you, and you don't even
Hmm.
have to see them, and you'll know that they're all there, and you'll begin to be able to pick out the different sounds,
Yes.
all of the different songs, and every sparrow that goes chip chip chip, and then you'll be asking what sparrow that was, and I'll just answer you and say it's the brown one. But
Not everyone goes in for sparrows right away, okay?
Mhm.
Some people go in right away. Some people go for the more colorful ones. Some people go straight to raptors first,
Mhm.
right? So you'll get them. There's a sparrow spa on eBird. You don't have to go all the way, okay? Just go to It's a Sparrow. End of story.
Okay. All right. Now, speaking of eBird,
Mhm.
okay. Now, this is a sort of like a recording of the birds that you see, right? Everybody makes up their lists and stuff,
Yes.
and you report it to eBird. And what happens to them? Why are we doing this? Why do we do it?
Okay, there's why does a single person do it? They might do it because they like keeping lists, and an electronic
Okay.
list on that platform is a fun version of doing a fun way to do it. And the app is on your phone. It integrates with the Merlin app, which is for IDing if you want to use that. And then the eBird database. Oh, nobody quote me on this, right? But the eBird database managed by Cornell Labs,
Yeah.
Cornell University, and that data from everyone around the world that's putting in their lists can be used for research. It can be used to look at
Mhm.
migration patterns, things like that. And people
Mhm.
also can upload photos of the birds they saw, sound videos or links to videos, and the sounds of the birds they saw, just to get a more, a vivid description of what's going on in the bird world around us. So
Mhm.
that's one reason you can use that platform for it. Some people just like keeping lists, and some people have their paper lists. Some people
Mhm.
have notebooks. Some people do it just by photos. Some people, there's other
Yes, and,
programs people
and
use too.
and eBird is free,
eBird is
and
free.
it's free, and it's on your phone, so you don't even have to carry paper or pencil or anything else like that. It's on your phone,
Hmm.
right? And Merlin, that you and I both like an awful lot, and I love it since they added that sound feature. It's been like
It's
truly
fun
amazing. Oh yeah,
because you're like, it's like, am I getting it at the same time, or are they finding that? Because like my hearing range is farther than Merlin's. Or some things that they'll say like, no, that's wild. That's not here. I'm not accepting that as a as an option. But it's fun for me when the bird pops up in the picture and it's like, oh, it does it again. It flashes yellow and say, yes, another chickadee. Yes, another chickadee. It'd be wild if it could then quantify. I'm sure that's like the next level.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's wild. It's fun.
For anybody that doesn't know what the Merlin app is, it is a way for birders, new ones and more experienced ones, to either take a photo or a sound bite from the song of a bird
Hmm.
and let Merlin have a go at it and give you some choices for what that bird is.
Hmm.
And they can come up with one, or they can come up with a list of many.
Hmm.
And it's fabulous to do because you get this list of things of all the possibilities, and then you start listening closer and you start looking more, and and going, what do I see, and where is it not, and all of those other good things. One of the things that I do when I first arrive to go birding is I turn on Merlin, turn on the
Yeah.
sound thing, stick it out the window, and let it start recording what's there, right? And then I bring it back in, and you see the list of
Yeah.
everything that it so far heard. And sometimes, yeah, you go, like, I don't think there's a toucan anywhere in the area, but it's a
Mhm.
possibility, maybe. Um,
But oh, that's a squirrel. That's definitely a squirrel.
and so, but it gives you all of these choices, and it lets you, if you wish to, go from when you're doing your identification from there to eBird. You can go ahead
Mhm.
and do your stuff that way. But Merlin is great. Love Merlin. It is also on your phone, and it is also free. And it is
Mhm.
also from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved once they
Yes.
connected the two. I was
Yes.
because yeah, when you're in, like, I was like, how is all of this free? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, the Raptor ID that I use as well is from
Hmm.
the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, right?
Oh, okay.
It
I
is
don't know this one.
Yeah, it's free. There
Okay.
are 5,000 pictures on that one, and they also give you like the silhouettes in the
Yeah,
sky so that you can because right, that
that's all you see.
when
All you see is silhouettes.
yeah, yes, if you ever see a hawk up close, there are at least five that it could be,
Hmm.
depending on if you can check all of the things, because hawks, I do see people who say the hawk hung around for, like, 2 hours over on my fence or something like that. Me, maybe 15 seconds. Okay,
Yep.
is not, and you just you check as fast as you can, and stuff like that. But yeah, you can learn things through this app as well. It's great, and it is free as well. So,
That's
and if you're just
awesome.
starting out in birding, or you want to try it and see if you like it, free is good, and
Yes,
these are
yes.
really good apps as well. So.
Yeah. I used to go because Toronto has a great library system, and I like physical books. So I would also pick up, I picked up a Raptor book once when I was trying to decide which field guides I wanted. I bought a bunch of those too because I
Hmm.
won't carry because I don't want the weight of a field guide with me. I'd rather carry
Yeah.
snacks. And so I would
Yes.
like over breakfast or something. I'd be looking through my guide and looking at pictures that way and sort of absorbing that, put that away, then just go out and see what I see. If I can ID it, great. If I can't, that's fine too.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely if there's anything from the libraries, I wonder if any clubs run as lending libraries as well. I don't know. I think though with some of the different whether it's chat groups too, because people travel, right? And if you're traveling to a place, you can buy the guidebook, which is fun. But if you
Hmm.
probably won't use it, could you borrow someone's guidebook,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then test that out and see. So I think maybe that's something. Maybe people already do that. I don't know. Um, but that's another way, once you know people, to be able to say, like, hey, have you
Hmm.
gone there? Can I borrow this? Or, oh, I see you're using this book. I've thought about getting that one. What do you think? What's your opinion on it?
Hmm. One of the other ways to do it, if you can borrow it from the library, okay, great. But then you got to be good to it
Hmm.
when you're out with it. Okay, but lots of times you'll find them in secondhand bookstores, and you can
Yeah.
also find them at garage sales. Garage sales are pretty good for that too. Now they may be older versions,
Hmm.
but not so bad. Because what did I get here? Oh yeah, I did a thing for Amazon, and so of the new ones that are
Hmm.
out. Okay, so the Sibley's Birds. Okay, the second
Yes.
edition
Yes, that's
is
my favorite one.
yes, 26.99. Okay, that's the new one.
Hmm.
The one that I use, which is Birds of Ontario.
Hmm.
Okay, that is now 28.66. Now, when I bought it,
Hmm.
which will tell you how old my bird guide is, it was not quite $10.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's
So does it
older.
have some names that we don't use anymore? Are there
Oh yeah.
words that are bad in there? Okay. Do you
Oh my
do you
gosh.
change them yourself, or do you just like do you
I
make
just
edits
I
in the
just
page?
I just know what. Yeah, I just sort of like go with it. It's fine. Okay, and then the Peterson's Field Guide, which seems to be an awful popular one, and they have Eastern and Central North America together for $27.32, and the Western North America for $28.17. So
Yeah.
if you can find some secondhand ones, that's good if you want print. Now, for
Yeah.
people who are low vision or blind, Braille, so far as I can find out, does not exist. And large
The
print
bird guides.
Peterson from 1999 is the only one available. Other than that, they're
Okay.
not doing it. So my suggestion there is there's also an app for Audubon on the and both Audubon, the Audubon Field Guide,
Yeah.
and Merlin are supposed to work with, what is it called? Voiceover or talkback screen readers.
Okay.
Okay, now
All right.
there
Have you tried it
are
out? I haven't.
articles. Yeah, I tried. Okay, I really
Yeah.
did. I downloaded things and I messed with it and messed with it and messed with it. Okay, but
Yeah.
then I would be really interested in hearing what anybody has to say about how these things would work. I really want to know if they
Yeah.
do. Now, Birds Canada, the Warblers podcast, did a great show on Merlin,
Yes.
and during that podcast, they said they're working on the accessibility features
Okay.
for as they progress. So I don't know what's there, but I think
Okay.
it would be well worth the trying to see if it could. And I'd love to hear about it if anybody knows.
Yeah.
I really.
That's interesting. Like, that would be good to do. I was thinking of the different, like I said, I like the Sibley one. I have the physical one, but then last year I also bought that version in the app version because, like I said, I really like it, but I'm not going to carry it around. And people have been
Yeah.
talking about the app version. So I have that, and you can like compare within the app, and the same picture is just digital. And so I don't know if I can even. I'm thinking like, can I adjust my font size even, or things like that? Like I haven't tried to play with that part of the app even, right?
When you have it in your phone, right? The biggest thing that I found anyway is to go into your accessibility of your phone,
Okay.
increase your font size there,
Yes.
okay, and then come back to it, and it
Okay.
should be bigger,
All
right?
right.
So try it that way first and see what happens, and then go from there. Because the birding world, I think, needs to catch up a little wee bit, because there's so many different print, things in print and styles of doing things. So yeah, I think that needs to be done. I mean, as it stands, even say, for example, when you start talking about, okay, where can people find online information about accessible trails or
Yeah.
any of those things don't really exist, because the reviews of the trails are not done from any sort of, this is what we need. They're
Yeah.
done from, okay, it's sort of paved and you can go from here to there and life is
Yep.
good. That's accessible. And that's what it means.
Yes.
So what you read online, you have to take with a grain of salt and then
Yes.
go from there. And that everything has to catch up.
Yeah. You have to do
On
some reconnaissance. You sort of start the trip. It's like, this might work out. I may be able to go. And then you're like, okay, well, that's not a winter place. I can try that one in the summer, maybe, because whether it's the parking lot or something else about the surface or how they maintain it. But I mean,
Yeah.
the signs around here, winter comes, it says, trail not maintained in winter. That's it. It's like, you can go in, but not maintained.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah. Well, see, here I go to the Algoma Mills boat launch. Okay.
Yep.
It is on no anything. It's nowhere. Okay.
It's your personal
And
hotspot?
yeah. Well, you turn off of Highway 17 by Clarence's Fish Market. Okay.
Okay.
and you go down, you pull in, you park. You can see ducks there from
Yeah.
spring all the way through. And if you walk down, there's a canal, all right?
Hmm.
So all the ducks are in there and they do their whole nesting thing and they have their kids and do whatever and stuff. And then you go down the canal and you're coming out to Lake Huron.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can go and there's a gazebo out there. And I've stood there and watched bald eagles fish. Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fabulous because it's surrounded by trees. The whole area is surrounded by trees. So they start from a tree and then they come down, right, and come into the water. Oh, it's yeah. Anyway, it's
Wow.
really very very good. But the reason that I just stumbled upon that literally, okay, through somebody told Kiwi,
Hmm.
Kiwi and I went and you just go, but it's completely passable with my walker, okay,
Yeah.
all the way along because it's more gravel. People fish there, so it's
Yeah.
it's well traveled. There are portable bathrooms there, no accessible really, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
bathrooms and stuff, and there's parking right in there. And even in the colder weather, when
Hmm.
not so much fishing, you can take your car almost all the way down to the gazebo and park in there,
Okay.
and then you're on paved pretty much well all of the time, right? It's absolutely terrific. And so those are the kinds of things that need to get into online reports about where people can go because there's little out of the way places that everybody
Yes.
finds,
Yes.
and when you're in a wheelchair or you have trouble walking like I do and you use a walker or you know um any of those kinds of things, you need to know where all of these kinds of places are. Where is there, a trail that a blind person can follow and
Yep.
just get out and be themselves and go, right? All of these things. Where are there things where can we take an interpreter for someone who's deaf? Or are there signs that will
Hmm.
allow for them to also know exactly what's going on, where they're at, where to go, and all the rest of this? It just needs to be done.
Yeah. It's not characterized, right? And it's
Yeah.
not easy to find in one spot. Maybe if enough people know, like, these are the things, this is what I'm looking for, then, okay, then those people kind of like their ears are open, their eyes are open, they're thinking, okay, this might be a good spot, or, oh, let me tell so and so about this. You can
Mm-hmm.
park here, you can do this thing. Because it wasn't the places that we see, or the places that, for example, that are hotspots on eBird are great because, okay, let me rephrase this. They're on eBird and they're hotspots because birds are there. It's not
Yes,
about how people manage to get to that area,
that's right.
right? So how do you, like I said, I called this your personal hotspot. You said by Algoma Mills. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
were eBirding it and you said, okay, well, I'm now going to make this a hotspot. So it'll show up on this one map, at least for the bird sightings. And then do the birds bring other people? But it doesn't let them
Mm-hmm.
know why you made it a hotspot because of its parking or because of its paved path or, right? There's no,
Mm-hmm.
some of that information is starting to come out and starting to
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit centralized. But you're right. It's not easy. It's a lot of trial and error, isn't it?
Yes, yes. One of the things that I want to do here, like on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever I can
Hmm.
do, is to show the place because Northern Ontario is not the easiest place to to get around in. We've got a lot of rock.
Yeah.
And stuff. And there are places here, people you can come here and bird, and we have some great birds.
Hmm.
We really do. I'm waiting for the sandhill cranes to come back.
Yeah, we'll send them back your way soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, please do. I like, and I'm waiting for my loons. I love my loons. Uh, and there's all kinds of different birds here, and you can get out to see them. There is a new accessible trail up at Boom Camp in Blind
Hmm.
River that
Okay,
they
yeah.
they made it just so that people with disabilities can get around. It's all on boardwalk and it's set up as a loop
Okay.
system, and there are 3 loops. So a
Okay.
very short one for when you are not feeling particularly spry, but you want to go
Yeah.
and get out and see something. But it's very short, and then they get progressively longer. So depending on what you want to do,
Okay.
And yeah, and it's all in wooded area, and Boom Camp is very pretty to begin with. But along the way, you can also stop off at places like Sellers Beach, which is fully accessible and has an accessible bathroom in it, and watch some waterbirds, shorebirds, however you want to call at that point, and then go down to the Blind River Marina, and
Okay.
they're loaded with birds down there, and that's fully paved. All right, and then circle around on the road all by Lake Huron and pull in at various spots there where there are little wetlands and stuff, and you find things hiding in and
See
around
now,
there.
this isn't a road. It's a road trip adventure,
Yeah.
right? So you do it. But you got to write this down. Whether that's something downloadable, whether we can click it, because I mean earlier you had shared me like a way that people could go around in spots that you like
Yes.
to drive and to see, and I thought, well, that sounds like a great adventure. Like I'm the
Mhm.
person that will say like I could go to all of those places and do that loop. I did that for hot sauce last month, so don't even, like I will drive around to find a thing if I have a list of places I need to stop at.
Mhm.
So I mean, and you have different. It's for different characteristics, um, a different target of why these places are on the list, but that's a profile that will appeal to different people, but also the birds.
Yes.
I'll help you edit this. This is a thing, okay? This is a thing.
Okay. We can do this. Okay. That is good. So what what is one thing, I think I already know, but that you would not be without on a birding trip?
Snacks, Leona, snacks. Snacks. Um, at first I thought I was gonna say binoculars, but no, that's not true because I did. Oh, Misha's here. Misha says Blind River is a beautiful place for Nate. Oh, she goes for fishing. Okay, good. All right, so Misha will cache our food, and I will have some extra snacks to go with the fish, and I'll pick up the birds by ear. So, okay, I know what I was gonna say.
All right.
I
Okay. We're
didn't
good.
say binoculars first because there was like about a 3 to 6 day period. It's a very hard period where I dropped and broke 2 pairs of binoculars.
Oh.
And I had to ship 1 pair out because, the great warranty, they were going to repair them. They ended up just replacing them because I smashed them. And I was still going to go outside. And I was like, it's okay, Joanne. You said you're going to learn by ear. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it for these days. And, I got through it. My new pair came, but also another friend had a pair they weren't using. so, so that helped me. So, and then if I'm on my bike, I don't always stop to listen. Like on my bicycle, I will just keep going. If I know for sure, okay, chickadee, 3 chickadees, I'll write that down later. Starlings, I'll write that down later. So I can do it without my optics and equipment. There are some birds I
Mhm.
won't get. And even with my stuff, I still won't know what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
So, so I would say, what do I need? Snacks. Because if you say, I'm just going to go out for an hour, that's all I'm going to see. And then the birds are good, and then you're hungry,
Yeah.
angry that makes me. Then you're trying to find your camera bag. There's got to be like, I must have a candy in here. Because there's no snack stand at the end of the spits. Is there a snack stand but at the fish shop, there must be wait, the place that you go, Algoma Mills, you said there's a fish
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah. No,
So you can get
it's
snacks there.
oh, actually, you can get some beautiful smoked fish. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Okay.
good. Yes, yeah, it's very good. And there's also fish
Okay.
jerky if you really want them. But I like the smoked fish an awful lot. So yeah.
Yeah. But definitely, yeah, I would say snacks. What else? I mean, my phone is usually around because, well, I'm listing, or if you need to call for an emergency, which I haven't had to yet, or if my mother calls, are you out bothering birds today? Okay, she doesn't sound like that, but she calls, like, where are you pestering birds today? She'll say
Hmm.
that. Um, what else do I always have? I usually, especially in spring, like I'll have more socks because I don't like my feet being wet. Like if a thing happens and your feet get wet,
Yes.
like, I don't like that. But most of my shoes are Gore-Tex now, so I live that
Ooh.
Gore-Tex life. Um, I think that would be like the essential. Just like I would go, and I guess I'd have my keys because I have to go back home.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the answer you want, Leona, but those are the things where I think
No,
like that I would if I was
no,
just gonna pop out and bird. But there's more stuff I add in on top of that too, though.
Well, see, like I have my bag, right? So
Hmm.
that it's like my go bag. But that's got
I have
all
my
of the camera binoculars and yes, exactly.
The
Okay,
small one that usually goes in the backpack and then snacks of another
yes,
bag. So.
mine's huge. There, okay. But the things that I will take that I need, okay,
Hmm.
are fingerless gloves. Okay,
Yes.
because if my hands get cold, then they stiffen up and I can't do anything because that's
Hmm.
part of the disability, right? I
Okay. Yes.
take I take a throw with me. Couple of
Yes.
reasons. In the wintertime, it's darn cold.
Yes.
And having your window down in the car is
Hmm.
one of those things so like you want to throw, okay? And it's a Toronto
Yes.
Maple Leafs throw, okay?
Okay.
Um,
Good. 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 Someone needs to
yeah.
support them.
But the other thing that it does is in the summertime and in the spring, I can fold it and
Yes.
put it over the window and I can put my arms on it like so and hold my camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Like
So
a
that
brace
it,
there. Good.
yeah, yeah. And it is a good way to do that. And then coffee. And I have a thermos container and I bring coffee. And
There you
that is
go.
never far. So, and those are the things that I must have. Absolutely must have. Now, my phone, I always have my phone there and I have uh, all of the bird apps on there and I have a recording app on there so that if I want to go and get some extra stuff, like I once witnessed a loon and some Caspian terns fighting, right?
Oh.
And it, yeah, oh yeah, and it was like the loon was not a happy camper, right? But so I taped it, right? And it's different watching it and hearing what's going on and then
Yes.
coming back and playing it and and you hear all sorts of different things that you didn't catch
Hmm.
before, right? It's fascinating stuff. And so yeah, so I do an awful lot of that. So yeah. But other than that, that's what I've got. And of course my walker's in the car. So
Well, yes.
yeah.
There you go. You got to get around. Definitely.
Yeah. Yes. So there you go.
So
That's
it's interesting. Like we have things that overlap, but it also
mhm.
probably highlights that yes, we have our go bags, but the my existence is very different. It's like, oh, there's a what out there? I could be on my bike in some place. I'm like there 25 minutes to get that. I can at times pivot quickly and do that for different things. Do you chase? Do you like look at alerts and try to like run after any of them?
Okay, you've been here. All right.
I don't. There could be a thing. There could be a thing. Okay. You said I don't know. Maybe bald eagles bring their friend. That Stellars has been around. I don't know how far north of Stellars is going to go. Okay.
Mhm. The we know where to go to see them. Like say, oh, okay, we all know that at a certain point in time, down by on Highway 17, and
Hmm.
as you're coming around by Iron Bridge,
Yes.
there you can come by. Part of it is water. Okay, along
Yes.
the bridge, you can come by it, and you can see like 13, 14, 15 bald eagles all just kind of like hanging out together. Okay,
Yes.
so we know that that exists. Or um, one of the one of the things I love about this place is its unpredictability. We
Hmm.
went to look at ducks, and one of the ducks turned out to be a moose. Okay, who
Oh.
was yeah exactly who was in the water laying down having a wonderful sleep, and
Oh.
stuff, and then sort of said, "There's people." Stood up and shook off and did all those things, and then just sort of said like, "Who are you people?" And then calmly walked off the other way. So there,
What did the ducks do? Like what? The ducks just said the ducks must have known it was under there.
oh yeah, yeah, they didn't do anything. It was nothing. It was, it's the same thing as the beavers or running into, yeah, because we do have beavers here too, and they
Yeah.
build the dams and stuff, and oh, Um, they're very cute. They're extremely
Yeah.
cute. But we also have uh, frog mating season.
Okay.
Okay, so that starts early, early, early in the morning. And as you are driving along the road and your headlights pick up literally hundreds and thousands of frogs on the
Yeah.
road, all hopping across, and all you hear is that, that sort of creak, 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 and rips
Hmm.
and all of those things. And you're trying to avoid them, and you turn a corner and there's more, and there's just more and more and more.
Yep.
And you got to stop, and you got to get out and have a look at all this. I mean, it's some of that stuff that when you're going out to bird, that just kind of happens. And
Yes.
so rare bird alerts, no, but frog mating and moose and
Yes. Yes.
definitely, yes, we do get it. Oh, and bears. Can't forget the black bears.
Apparently, yes. You told me that bears just pop up. They
They
just
do.
pop up when you're just like, hello, I'd like to see the bird too. No, no. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
they're incredible. We saw cubs with their mom, and
Okay.
then there was one huge. He would to me he was okay. He's a black bear, but in certain light, that black looks brownish. Okay,
Okay.
and huge. And all he did was Kiwi had a thing about letting the car just roll behind them. Okay, so that we
Okay.
could we could follow along. And he just walked calmly ahead of us, turning around to look every once in a
Okay.
while, and then found where he wanted to go in. Okay.
Hmm.
Now this bear, no joke, would have been probably at my shoulder, okay,
Okay.
as far as high. And he walked down a hill, okay,
Yes.
never saw him again. It was open. We never saw him.
Oh,
We don't know where he went.
okay.
Okay. So like this
Okay.
kind of stuff is really cool to do. Like you get so much more than what you think you're going to get from it, you know?
But that's why we go outside. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, I have a more, well, I guess there could be bears here, but things do just pop up and you see like, what, do we have otters here too? There's the birds you go and see. There's what did I see this morning? Mink. The mink were around
Oh
the
yeah.
rocks and just like,
Yeah.
cleaning their fur. And yes, they are around, but I forget sometimes. And it's like, ooh, minks are back, or minks are awake, I guess. They probably didn't
Mm-hmm.
go anywhere, but they are awake now. And that's true. Once you go looking for one thing, you may go look for birds a small bit, but there's so much else around that you
Yes.
can pick up, right?
Okay. Well, okay. So we've discussed all of that. The one thing I guess I would hope for is that there would be more people
Hmm.
who, with disabilities, whatever the disability
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
that would be interested in trying
Yep.
bird watching, birding, whatever you want to call it, because I think it would be terrific, and it would grow the hobby, I guess,
Yes.
somewhat. And it would also make outdoor spaces necessarily more accessible, which I
Yep.
think is a very good thing. I would also hope that anybody who's listening that has questions,
Hmm.
please feel free to ask them. You're
Yep.
willing to answer questions and stuff too, right?
I'm right
And
here. Hmm.
well, very good. Um,
I mean, sometimes I check my messages online. I'll be honest, I don't always. But people know where to find
I'm,
me out in the streets and in the clubs. The bird clubs, not like it's past my bedtime. I don't go to
mhm.
clubs anymore.
Yeah, but you can like for me, you can reach me here on Instagram, Facebook. I'm on Messenger, Lord knows. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I don't
easy to
think I'm
get.
hard to find. My internet trail is not that well hidden. Mm-mm.
Or
So
look anywhere that they're serving meat, apparently.
I
And
said snacks. I didn't say meat for sure, but that too. I have already had several helpings of bacon today. I needed it today. That's what it needed to be. Okay? There'll be no
okay,
judgment. Okay?
all right. So I think we've talked it, and you have bread to bake. Okay, for the
I
time
do.
being.
I do. It'll
Okay.
go in. We got some time.
Yes. Well, would you like to have some closing words yourself, ma'am?
Closing word. I didn't think about this. Um, I'm glad that we did this. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay,
And,
thanks so much.
it's one of the many. different conversations that we can keep having since we met on the working group. And then, this little wild child happened to be driving through southern part of northern Ontario and said like, hey, I've seen you on Zoom. Maybe we can bird?
Mhm.
I might be on your stretch of highway between these time frames.
Yep.
So I love that we did that and that we did this. And it's like you said, putting more of the information out there, normalizing that there are different ways to go out and find birds. There are different ways that birds are just there. You don't have to go, right? Just enjoy it.
That's
Just
right.
enjoy it. You can be a bird in any different way. Chase them or not. Read the book and say, oh yeah, I would go there one day. And that's good. Or be like, chickadees. I'm maxed out at chickadees. Whichever it is. So, okay, that's a lot of words. The closing words are, go bird. Birds are everywhere.
That's very good. So thank you, everybody, for coming out and listening to our very first one. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it a whole heck of a lot. And I hope we can do it again.